For the first part of the meeting, I'm gonna mute myself just because I'm in the car, just so y'all don't hear any road noise. But if you need me or if I need to interject, I'll take myself off mute.
Yes, ma'am. Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, it is 8:03 on Monday, August the 18th, and we're located at the Edge County Utility District Office at 1039 North Moss. And this meeting is in order, in session. And I'm gonna lead off with a word of prayer right there. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to be here today. We ask that you watch over each and every one that's here. And we ask that you be here and be in control of this meeting, and that we are all decent and kind to each other, Lord. And Lord, we thank you for all the many blessings. We ask that you watch over each and every one of these people here today. It's a leave here, keep them safe and watch over them. Thank you for watching over us and all your many blessings. We ask these things in your name. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, first thing on the agenda, excuse me, is public comment. And I've been asked to deviate a little bit. Mr. Capoff has a meeting he's got to go to. And he wanted to make a comment on agenda item 10, and then we can take it up when we get to agenda item 10. So he can go ahead and voice his opinion now. So, Will, you got the floor.
Thank you. I had Wednesday blocked. I don't have this morning blocked. I'll be quick. So I talked to Ms. Hayes a little bit about this. I don't know if y'all are aware, I know it's come up before, but quick history on deposits. Y'all know I have a little history around here. When we moved the information from the city, couldn't figure out why some of the accounts had deposits and some didn't. That's because at the time we followed the city's rules, and we still do, to my knowledge.
John.
And what I think y'all need to understand is the city's rules that were followed, that were adopted by a prior board, said when an account was in standing for 2 years, there was eligible for their deposit to be returned. So what we found when we migrated the data, and this is how we figured it out, some of the accounts didn't have deposits, some did. We couldn't figure out what that was. We just didn't have time to get to it because there were 500 other things to go on when we took that over. So just so we could wrap up, I made some requests to y'all. I don't think any of them panned out. So I will leave you with this set of emails and the information. So I was advised that the city's current policy is different. This prior board didn't adapt the city's current policy, which is online. The city's policy that was adopted was from a 35 page document or so that we acquired from them back then. And unfortunately, the information that I was told that would apply was the city's current, what happens when you're in default section. So I can walk you all through these if you'd like, but it's just my original request, a follow-up, the response, which basically says, here's the city's policy. And you can look at the attached section, which I attached, which unfortunately doesn't cover their deposit, covers what happens to your deposit when you're in default. That has nothing to do with the good standing policy that was in place years back. So if anybody would like these, I'm happy to give them to you. If not,
You have any colleagues?
what I would like you to understand is you now have 2 classes of customers, right? And when you treat one set of people different than you have 2 different classes, and when you treat one set of people different than the other, and a class takes action, it gives you more grief than you want. I've been asking for this. I've been pretty generous. It's not about money. It's about doing what's right. And I know that was due. So I've asked simply apply it to the bill and we'll move on. That's all I have to say.
Run through the 2 classes again.
You have class that their deposit was returned, and class where their deposit wasn't. Right? I've been on auto pay since I got to this town because writing checks is not exactly something, well, some folks still do it, but I'm sorry, everything goes my credit card, and it's been that way since I moved to this town. And there were a ton, and the prior board asked any of them, there were a ton that we were aware of. We didn't have time to get to them. And now we're a couple of years later, we still haven't. I'm trying to spark that for y'all.
Okay, thank you, Will.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too, sir.
You say,
Did anybody else have a sheet they want to turn in for non-agenda item? Shirley, you got one here for non-agenda.
I just wanted to mention that, well, I already talked about the video and mine's still not coming up. But I also wanted to mention that the equipment and others, maybe I'm not working it right. But the public needs to know that the president, John Kelly, wasn't given the opportunity to look at interview the three applicants. He wasn't told that the other board member interviewed them, but he wasn't given a chance to interview them. And I just don't think that that is appropriate for this board to do that.
Thank you. Are you gonna Troy, are you gonna keep time?
yes, sir. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were.
Well, I didn't know if you were or not.
Yes, sir, I am trying to help.
Okay. Moving on. As of last Wednesday, my PI hasn't been answered yet, but we're gonna progress on. Trying to take care of business for the district. Item 2, discuss, review, and take action on the appointment of a new director to fill the board vacancy under Water Code Section 49105. And we have a comment from Shirley Kelly.
Well, this is just repeating what I just said, that the president wasn't given. And then I talked to Troy, and Troy gave me the description of 3 of the applicants. One of them was, she was real kind and sweet, real concerning. And then one of them was that he was related to, he had some experience, he had oil field equipment, but he also was related to news commentator, and he thought that that would come in handy. And then when it come to Carl, he said, "Oh, it's okay." Well, the first applicant has been to 3 board meetings. The second one hadn't at that time been to any. And the third one has been attending the board meetings for probably the last 3 years. He was employed with a major oil company for several years. He was in, he had a degree in instrumentation. He has been in business. He has also worked in all the oil field from Pinwell, Gardendale, Goldsmith. But he has also an expertise in water. He's been in water flood. He's been in all kinds of stuff. And whenever there was a real problem with the water, he was one that was called in. And I thought he would be a big asset. But Troy just thought he would be okay.
Okay. We do have Ms. Sylvia here today. And since I haven't gotten an interview, did you do any interviews, Troy?
No, sir,
Okay.
just what I talked to him in the lobby.
Yeah.
Down to me, that if I had known that, just the two, because we requested this while back. I just would let ask Nicole, hey, can we interview the applicants? Yes, we can. But Nicole met as a board, we saw it, I saw it as just, hey, 2 of us at a time. Not knowing that, okay, that's 2 interview, that would have taken away from, and we thought y'all could go interview them out, separately. That's why we did, that I requested, it wasn't anything taken away from anybody else. And if I would have known that, I would set it up where we all can meet with them. So,
And
I
yeah,
made my request to interview them.
Yeah.
I can make a request for you to interview them. So, and
that's-
he made a request to interview.
but
So,
So
we had the same
not
amount of
knowing-
days
not
to
knowing
interview.
that we're
them.
taking
So,
away
I don't know what you mean, you didn't have a chance to interview.
yeah, no, we can't,
so,
but
four
after-
miles
after-
of walking corner.
yeah.
And then we had a phone call afterwards. And I told you we had already interviewed the candidates.
We didn't have a conversation out here, it just,
No,
me and
because,
you.
no, because you can't have a conversation with one of the other board
I
members about
understand.
what y'all discussed.
Yeah,
And that was,
Because then that would be a walking quorum. So Troy didn't talk to Jesus or Daryl. Daryl and Jesus didn't talk to Troy. Troy only talked to Shirley. And so there hasn't been a walking quorum.
I didn't say there was.
I'm just clarifying if there is.
I'm just trying to explain my standpoint, and from you guys,
like I said,
when I talked to one of the, applicants, I said, who called you? He said, the office called me, and they set up the appointment. Well, from my standpoint, that looks a little weird. I'm just asking you to understand my side.
and I'll let you know, John, that I'm not gonna be calling people, I work. So I'll turn to the office and say, hey, I need this set up. So, I mean, just to make it clear, it may look shady, but, and some people may think that, but I'm not gonna take the time.
Okay. Well, let's move on, see if we can pick out somebody.
Well, John, if I may interject, I mean, if the three candidates are there, I mean, Jesus and Daryl can certainly kind of give a brief summary of the three candidates when they met. Or if the three candidates are there, y'all can certainly, have the three candidates introduce themselves, give a little, introduction and background of themselves. And then y'all are more than welcome to, ask questions of the three of them. They can each, one can stay and the other two can step out, or they can all stay in the room. It's however the board would like, to just do that process. But I mean, if we
Okay.
have three applicants, we really should take action today on filling that vacancy.
Well, we have one here, and we'll carry on.
Okay.
How about y'all kind of fill us in on, pick one, everybody but Miss Sylvia, I'll let her get up and say her.
Okay.
Tell us what,
Carl has, we've seen Carl come to meetings and everything. He has a good background and everything. Just give you all three of them make a good candidate. It's just depending on, what I looked at was, the timing where ECUD's at right now. What we're needing, we're looking at maybe somebody that's gonna be there, that's gonna participate. If you elect committees, who's gonna be able to help? So that was one thing that I was asking. The other thing was that, I asked them, just various questions about the board, not the board, the district. They all answered good. Like I said, Carl has, oil field background, water background. Is he a good candidate? Yeah. I got no reason to say that he's not. Jay came in and,
John,
or John, sorry. John come in and, he's a businessman. He tried to get on the ESD. Yes, his brother's Jay Hendricks, and that would give us a lot of, Jesus asked that would be, that he'd be willing to give more publicity. He goes, yeah, if it's something that's worthy to, newsworthy, yeah. So, and then, he's been, and I kind of see him like me, I didn't attend a lot of board meetings. I attended maybe 2 board meetings before. Well, actually, I only attended one before actually, And that was way before, years before I actually even decided to run as a board member. But I felt that I needed to do something. That's where he came in. He goes, man, I'm tired of seeing things not run in a certain way. Uh, uh, he tried to get on the ESD. They requested quite a bit from what he said. Uh, he's a businessman. So, I mean, there's not one candidate that that's not qualified. It just comes down to who the board thinks is going to be the best and be able to give us the most. Because right now, I mean, what this board needs is it needs more people to help bring it back together where it needs to be and get us all on the right track. You know what we got on this board to do, and that's more for the community. And I'm not going to answer for Miss Sylvia all that driving question.
I said,
No.
you're, I mean, I'm asking for some feedback for me to know.
Oh, okay. Well, like Daryl said, all three candidates, are pretty qualified. All of them have their reason for they want to be on board. And they're very strong reasons. All three of them had real strong reasons to go. Ms. Silva had a very strong reason to be, she wants to be on the board. And, but we have to decide for one, we should decide for more than one. Uh, I know all of them can do something for ECUD, but, we don't decide for one.
Did either one of you have specific qualifications in your mind or written down that you expected out of these guys?
I mean, you know, one of the questions that I asked was that it's always I asked all three of them, and they all three answered about the same, is what's more important, ECUD or customers? And all of them said, well, they all come in hand in hand. So you said you can't, so my thought has always been, you can't do for one and it hurts the other. It's everything that we do moving forward, it's got to balance out and be equal to everybody. So now, I know some things, that there'll be people that disagree with something that we agree with, because it might not affect them. It might not, I mean, perfect example is the discount on water connections right now. Well, we got people on that side that are like, hey, it doesn't benefit me. Yes, well, it's not meant for you, but it's meant for the people in the district. So yes, it benefits them. But that was something that I looked at, and then the other deal was, the other questions I had were, how we, if they, one of the biggest questions I asked was, what they thought our reasoning for not being able to expand as quickly as we need to be. And they all said something, so, okay. So they're in that understanding, because I know there's a lot of people that think like, well, hell, I get in there, I'm gonna put a pipe in the ground, I'm gonna do this, and not understanding the lack of funds is what's holding us back. That's why we're moving slowly, but moving slowly. So, I mean, they all have a good, of course, you know, John's owns businesses out here, so he's currently a businessman. Carl's, I guess, on that retiring side, but kind of slowing down a little bit, so he's got time. And then Miss Sylvia, you see her here all the time, so it comes down to who we individually think is going to be the best.
And Carl Sue's got a lot of experience in managing large amounts of money too. Said John will have some business experience as far as finances. Miss Sylvia,
Yes.
you wanna tell me a little bit about yourself and explaining why you decided to apply for the position.
Well, the reason is I was very naive about water, how we got water around here in the West. I thought it was a city. I left everything, to my husband. Um, I was a housewife. I had a husband. He tended to all that. That was his job. Well, now that he's gone, now I found out that it's not the city, it's ECUD. So now, just a week ago, my water well broke again. The pump broke again. Stayed without water like for 5 days. Uh, I don't know what it is to be a businesswoman, because I've never been a businesswoman. I've worked for businesses. But I'll tell you one thing, I've learned what it is to be without water. Having to carry 5-gallon buckets of water to be able to leave daily. Carry them inside my house like I did a week ago, taking a bath in the shower. I know what it is to be without water. I can say that's what I've learned. That's what I'm learning. That's what brought me over here to learn more. Now, what I feel about ECUD, there's a lot of people here in the West Side that are from Mexico, and they still think the city is gonna come in with pipeline. Even guys that are 30, 40 years old. My son, he's a welder and he meets them out in the field and he's the one that's telling me, Mom, they have no idea. And I tell them, it's not the city, it's ECUD. I feel what ECUD needs is a lot of publicity. People need to know who ECUD is. And then there's another thing, like the water pipes are across my street. Once across the street. And what I'd like to know is these guys are charging a lot of money to cut that 1-inch road. Why can't you guys do it? Get a backhoe and do it. They're charging up to $10,000. It's money all can be. I mean, I won't say charge 10,000, but it would help the people a lot. That there's a bunch of people that live right there where I'm at, where the water's just across the street. The pipe just goes across the street, but they say, well, it's too expensive. Now, I'm just talking about where I live at. But North Knox, where I'm at, it's a long ways out. It's a long street. No, that's what I'm learning. I'm learning. This is a process I'm going through. I'm learning. That's why I'm here, to learn. I'm not an expert on this or on that. Used to work with my husband we in plants way out in the east. But what I feel for ECUD, you all need publicity. You all need and I feel also that it's like I feel like that ECUD, like the guys downtown, like y'all are being choked at the neck. That's how I feel. Because I also went to go talk with what's his name, Landreth.
Eddie Landrum.
Landreth. Thank you for getting his name. And it feels like you know, they're, what they say, that's it. And they don't, it's what they say and that's it. Well, maybe that's the way it's supposed to be, but what about when they come and ask for something here? I feel like they're choking you guys. They're choking you guys by the neck. That's my opinion. Now, as for publicity, I've got a very good friend. Her name is, she's head of Blue Lag. You've all heard of Blue Lag. They, they're mostly, it's mostly Hispanic people.
Well, unfortunately, the deal with the cut across the road is not necessarily unique to you. It's all over West Odessa. There's a lot of people that's got the same problem, unfortunately. And,
Okay, but what about, why can't you guys, why are those guys, why can they do it? And they're private people.
well, that's another thing to take up with the board, but at one time, I think ECUD did do the cutouts across the road. I'm not gonna swear to it, but I'm reasonably certain they did do that, but
The county commissioners also changed a law that when we put it back in the ground, it has to follow their strict standards. And a lot of the stuff that we need for that, we don't have right now.
But we're kind of getting off the subject as far as this is an interview. and I-
Okay, I understand.
Pardon?
No, that's what she was gonna say.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, is we need to get back on topic on this particular
Okay,
agenda.
If I may, I received a text from John Hendricks. He's shorthanded today and has meetings this morning. He won't be at our meeting. Sorry for the short notice. He told someone, one of the girls Friday, that he might not be able to make it. So
Okay.
he did apologize.
And I talked to Carl, he had an appointment out of town, and he said he wasn't gonna be able to make it, so.
Wait, I had HR call all of the candidates
Yes, ma'am.
when to make sure they were aware that the meeting was at 8 o'clock today. And so, she had been told that Carl would not be able to attend and Mr. Hendricks would not be able to attend and that Sylvia was gonna try.
Mhm.
And she succeeded.
Yes, ma'am.
We're glad you could.
So, what, this isn't cruiser or anything, but what made you decide to start attending the meetings now? Is it because your water well was going down and you knew you was gonna be needing water?
Well, because I'm interested right now. I had never been to a board meeting to begin with,
Yeah.
never in my life. I didn't have a reason to come to board meetings. So when I came here, my son was the one that pushed me. He said, Mom, you go see what's going on. Somebody's gotta go. You go. And I was reluctant, but when I came, I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay. Did, I don't know if you touched on that or not, but did John give a reason why he had been attending the ECUD meetings?
He had said, his reason, he was basically just like I was, you know, got, one day he saw something and he told his wife, he was, kind of feel like I need to do something.
Did somebody kind of prompt him and said, man, you need to run through that?
No, he said he and his wife had a conversation. They watched something, and it wasn't so necessary. He wanted to do something for West Odessa. And he felt like he needed to start.
That was his comment to me also.
Yes, it
He
was.
wants to be involved in West Odessa where he lives.
Did, did any of the candidates ask y'all any questions? Did y'all get an opportunity?
No, I mean, I mean, just basically asked him why he wanted to run.
But they didn't ask y'all anything?
No,
Carl didn't ask you anything?
there was nothing.
I guess he took out
He
this.
just asked us if we know what water hamper was.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
And,
And he said it's when
no,
the,
did you not?
no, I didn't know.
I knew, not that specific word, but I knew what it was.
Well, and I can't say I actually knew what it was. I can make an assumption as to what it was. Okay.
Me, I just called it just somebody opening a valve like, and not being,
Pressurized.
yes.
Have y'all made up your mind on who you want?
Why, because we need to make a motion to say that.
Huh?
We need to make a motion to say that, right?
Well,
I make the motion on the bond.
I don't want to know necessarily. I just want to know if you made up your mind, and then we'll decide whether we want Ms. Sylvia to step out while we discuss it. Or,
I don't think we have anything to hide, do we?
No.
well, it's up to her.
Well, it's your choice if you want to stay or not. Is there a motion for a the new director? Do we have a motion?
Well, before we make a motion, don't we need to put the name out there?
She's gonna
Do we have a motion on it?
That's when you make a motion. To my knowledge, that's how you make the motion. Somebody makes a motion to appoint so-and-so. If there's a second, then we go on and vote. If there's not a second, we don't.
But what, somebody got, what if it's a different motion? I mean,
Well, if
different idea.
whichever gets the second, gets the vote.
So Nicole, can you make the
You can
motion?
discuss in advance, or you can make a motion and second, and then call for discussion, and then call for the vote, if that's what y'all choose to do.
What'd you say the first time?
You can do it one of two ways. Y'all can either have open discussion now, before a motion's made on the three candidates, or somebody can make a motion naming somebody. There can be a second, and then y'all can have, additional discussion after the second, before a vote's called.
Okay, well, I don't know, we can do it the way you mentioned personally, and I don't think the group's gonna agree with me, but all three candidates have their probably strengths. But personally, I think the strongest one is Carl with his, as much as he's attended meetings, he's been attending meetings longer than I have. And he knows what's going on and how the board meeting works. And he's got tons of experience in water. And he mentioned one time, he said, I'll probably pump more water than everybody at ECUD combined with all his years with the oil company. It's not audible, but anyhow, he was familiar with the controls and stuff like that. And he's my favorite, so I make a motion that we nominate Carl as the director.
I would like to mention something. I do agree that, Carl has a lot of great attributes. And I think if the board were in a position where we needed some more help in the field, I think Carl would be a great candidate for that. My opinion right now is we need a businessman. We need to making smarter business decisions. My vote is for, John Hendricks.
Well, I agree that Carl has a vast experience in water. But like, I was thinking the same as he would be more appropriate if we had field, or we had problems with the field. That would be more his branch. Uh, But like you said, we need help here, in office.
Well, his experience in the field would give him knowledge on how to vote on issues that come across for the board. I mean, because none of us got the same experience he's got. And I'll be the first to admit, I don't have it.
And myself is, I mean, I've got pipeline experience, I've got oil field experience, I got all that. I don't have water experience, other than just having them come pick it up and haul it off, so. But, I think going where we want to go and move forward, once we get past this, because this has been a kink in our hose. We can't move water without getting this kink out. And, I think, what I'm looking at is, board member, taking in somebody, because I know we're gonna have committees. I want to start having more committees to actually help start bigger projects. And, right now, I think we need somebody that's got good business sense, that's gonna have the time to do that, get out there. I mean, it's not, the times that I've been on the committee and everything, it does take up a little bit of time. Some are easier than others. It's just, it does take some dedication and,
That's your recommendation.
so, I mean, again, if I was looking for somebody to help outside, it'd be Carl, but I think what we do need right now is a businessman to help. So John is who
Is that a second?
I say.
Okay.
Well, could you deal with the one that makes the motion?
John made a motion.
Well,
for-
John made a motion, but nobody seconded.
Well, because you wanted to discuss it.
Well, we've discussed it, but I asked,
So let's
I
make
asked
that.
Daryl.
The motion dies without a second.
The motion dies for lack of a second.
Okay, and I made a motion for John Hendricks. He seconded.
He hasn't seconded it yet.
I second.
Daryl that seconded?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All in favor?
And John, you just need to call for the vote.
All in favor of, John Hendricks?
Aye.
All opposed? Aye. Okay. Hang on to agenda item 3, discuss, review, and take action to elect officers, president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. And I'm sure I'm gonna get put in my place on this, but, I just have a real difficulty with things flip-flopping around here, but from what I read in the, bylaws, and according to legal, she said the bylaws we have was meant more for businesses than, MUDs. But anyhow, from what I read in the bylaws, our reelection of officers should come in October. And since he's not fulfilling a seat, I don't really see the necessity of the vote, but I understand, I'm not liked in this position, and I figure that's where this is coming from. So, y'all just lay it out there on the table and we'll see where things go. But, before we do, we have one, a comment from the crowd.
Well, you said exactly what I was going to say is, it says to elect in October. It's 2 months off. You're spending time to do it today. We spend time on all of these things, but if y'all don't want to comply with the bylaws like this, just go ahead and do whatever you feel like's right. Let the public know.
And we got discussion. No comments. I don't understand, guys. Everybody's thinking.
Discussion and discussion is after the speaking. The
There
discussion,
needs to be a motion.
yeah, motion and a second and
I'd
discussion.
like an answer first on the bylaws, please.
So
These guys apparently don't have any opinion.
We don't
I'll
follow
rip the bylaws.
the bylaws. We are, correct me if I'm wrong, TCQ rules.
No, I sent you, an email
Yes.
answering that question. And so,
Well, I didn't agree with this reason I'm asking.
and so, and while I respect that you
You
don't,
sent me the
so while I agree that you don't agree with it, unfortunately, that, whether it's right or wrong, that is how the district operates. And on May, I think it was the 8th of 24, that the board voted to govern itself by the Texas Government Code along with the, attachment A, which gives us some guidance on, landlords and tenants and operations. And so that order was adopted, the resolution was adopted, and it passed. And therefore, those are the rules and regulations in which we are governed by. We are not governed by the bylaws.
Okay, let me ask this question then.
Okay, so I just want, I want to be clear as well, because a few meetings ago, there was discussion about the bylaws, and then you have the bylaws on the district's website. So, and John's correct, I mean, majority of the water districts that we work for do not have bylaws, they're governed by the water code and ECUD. So do y'all not follow the bylaws that are on the district's website? I just want to make sure I'm clear.
You know, we are governed by that order and resolution, which is also on the website.
Okay, but the bylaws that are on the website, do you follow the bylaws or not?
They're not on the website any longer.
Since when?
I don't remember exactly when they
I
came.
just copied them a few days ago.
So, I mean, and they could have been on there, but the resolution is on there as well.
It is, but it's terribly, terribly confusing.
And I'm gonna agree with that. I'm not gonna disagree with that. So, but we have to follow what was adopted and recorded.
I'm understanding that you've already told us that, but what we need to clarify for not just me
Mhm.
and the board, but the public, because the public refers to our website for lots of information. And as long as those bylaws are on there, they're gonna think are governed by bylaws. So those need to be removed immediately.
Okay,
They are.
well, and I agree with that, but that again is our fault, because when we passed that resolution in 24, we didn't ask them to be taken off.
Well, here's.
Well, I think where they got put back on there, in all honesty, is that when we did the website upgrade and they copied and pasted a lot of things from one to the other, it just got overlooked.
Well,
But it is correct today.
the-
This morning, it is correct.
Okay, so
look it up on the.
so therefore the bylaws,
Look it up.
so therefore the bylaws sitting in October is null and void. Those bylaws don't apply. So, I mean, the
Yes,
board
ma'am.
can take action on elected officers at any point throughout the year.
Yes, they're still there.
Correct.
And so the board can either make a motion to, y'all can do nominations and vote for each position, starting at president, or there can be a motion to nominate an entire slate, and you can send a person for president, VP, secretary, treasurer, and then if y'all want an assistant secretary/treasurer for the fifth, or just make that one director. It makes no difference. I have some boards that just have a director, and some have the name the fifth one assistant. Y'all can make a motion for the entire slate. It's however y'all want to choose to do it, an entire slate or make nominations for each position.
I discuss, let's see, I make a motion that we elect our, I'll make a motion,
Nominate,
I'll make a motion, we nominate, president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer as it is right now.
John, that's your motion
Yes, my motion to have a second.
to keep the same?
Yep. Okay, motion denied or failed. Do I have another motion?
I make a motion for Daryl for vice president.
We got to vote on these one at a time?
For secretary.
Troy, you making a motion for the whole?
I'm not making a motion for 3 of the 4, and John Hendricks for treasurer. And I have talked to him and he's willing.
He's gonna replace, Jesus?
Yes, and Jesus will replace Daryl and Daryl will replace me. I have no dog in the fight for president.
So Troy, just so I'm clear, you made a motion to appoint Daryl as vice president, Jesus as the secretary,
And John Hendricks is treasurer.
and Mr. And then Mr. Hendricks as treasurer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's your motion. And then, do you want to nominate yourself for president?
That's fine. I'll run for it if it gets a second.
Your VP.
So that's, so Troy's motion is that slate of officers.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Motion is made by Troy Walker, seconded by Terrell Pando.
And I do understand your point on that, John, but I also feel that needs to be.
Are you checking over already, Troy?
I believe I do after this vote, if there's a vote.
I just wondered because you were repeating what the motion and.
I was just trying to help John. I've got work to get to.
I'm sorry, I'm not getting past that. So we got Daryl for VP, Jesus for, secretary,
Secretary,
Troy for,
president,
and, John as, treasurer.
and then Troy, do you want your amendment to have John Kelly as assistant treasurer secretary?
Just director.
Or do y'all not typically use that position?
We don't
Move it to the
typically use that position.
Just the directors.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Man,
Aye. 3, nay, 1.
Motion passes. Next order of business, discuss, review, and take action on allowing only the president.
Excuse me, man, one more thing. With the, new director brought in, how legal is this board without him being, sworn in?
We'll
It's not-
swear him in next month.
Huh?
We'll swear Mr. Hendrickson next month.
So he's automatically a board member regardless of whether he's been, sworn in? To the point where we can change
We're gonna-
officers?
We can,
We
we
still
can
have
call,
a quorum.
we
I
can,
mean,
I can,
You can,
we can
you
call
can change
him.
officers every month. I would suggest it.
Yeah,
But yeah, you can put him in as a position now and then he's not even at the meeting right now. So we'll swear him in next month.
Okay, I just
Can we-
wanted to
Nicole,
make
can-
sure it was legal to proceed with, the vote without him being sworn in.
Yeah, he's not voting. We're just putting him in a position.
Well, if you're putting him in a position and he's voted in, he ought to be able to vote, but although he's not here, but.
What I'm saying is he didn't vote on this motion. All we did was put him in a position for going forward once he's sworn in as a director.
Okay,
Nicole.
Yes,
Nicole,
ma'am.
so can we not,
Yes, ma'am.
can we not swear him in between now and the next election? I mean, the next board meeting? Can he not come in and do his oath and get him, get him bonded and go ahead and have him do the public information and the open meetings before the next
Sure.
meeting? Okay.
You certainly can. Yeah. Typically I swear them in, Debbie, but again, that's districts that may not have admin like y'all do.
Yeah.
So y'all can certainly handle that business prior to the next meeting.
Yeah, well, that's the way we'll pursue this so that we can get it done. So our meetings will be smooth and we can get him.
If you can just send me, if you can just send me, his oath and contact information, so I'll have that going forward once he's all set up.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's discuss, review, and take action allowing the president to contact the attorney, meaning board members, the general manager cannot contact the attorney without the president's approval. I believe this motion was brought forth by Jesus. If you'd like to say anything about it.
I would like to discuss it also. I know I came up with this motion or this
Agenda item.
agenda item. But I don't want to give, full power to the president on that.
That's fine.
So I would like to reword this. If the person wants to contact the attorney, one other board member has to,
Two people,
two people has to be a.
two board members.
So if, Debbie wants to call the attorney, she has to come to you, right?
Yes.
But you have to count on one of us
To agree.
to agree.
Okay, that's fair.
Run that by one more time.
Yeah, each, if we want, if he wants to talk to the attorney, or you want to, or we have to go to the president to talk to the attorney.
And I just have to agree and find
And
one other
then
board member. that
if he wants to talk to the attorney, he has to go through us, through one of us, to talk to the attorney. And even if she wants to
I
talk to the
would say
attorney,
y'all are walking a fine line with the,
Yes.
just walking
I'm-
quorum issue.
I'm not,
no,
I'm not,
no, just one.
Taking actions, doing actions outside of meetings.
But, it's just two members, not three members.
Yes, ma'am.
Understood, but let's say issue where then you call, let's say you don't get the answer you want from the one director you spoke to, and then you call another one. Now you just spoke to three.
Okay.
I don't agree with this.
And I'm just unclear, I'm unclear how, I'm supposed to do my job if I have to get approval or permission to talk to people or send emails or work with y'all in these meetings.
It's because we're trying to control the amount we're trying to,
Maybe I have a better understanding.
we're trying to control the amount of, phone calls and,
Money.
emails and all the money spent every time we talk to you. So we're trying to control that somehow.
Understood. I don't generate most of the calls. Most of the calls are incoming calls.
Correct.
We're just trying to figure out a way to keep the generation low.
Yeah, just the only problem I have with this is that, I mean, if one of us has a problem with the way the board's being conducted, we need to be able to seek counsel without having to. So I understand. I think this is something that we really got to look at before we vote on this. Because, yes, we want to cut our costs down, but I don't think you should take the rights from each individual to be able to seek counsel.
Okay.
So we've got to figure out a better way of doing this, because it might be something that I have that y'all are trying to do that I don't approve of. So I got to go get with somebody that's already on against it or for what I'm against. So, I know where it's coming from, but I can't. And I thought about it, and I sat here and thought about it, and I've been thinking about it over the weekend. I can't find a good
Think we
reason.
will create separation or part,
Well, yeah, well, if we do it that way, then we're not having a mind of our own. We're using somebody else to have to try to, which, I mean, when we form a committee, that's why we do it for some. But I mean, as far as, I think where we've all gotten off of it is that, we're thinking that one individual's looking at just going to the attorney to try to get some information to get onto somebody, and that's really not where it needs to be. What, if I've got questions about, hey, Nicole, we want to bring the M&O tax back, so this is what I've got, this is what I'm thinking, can I make this work? And she'll say, hey, yes, you need to form a committee, or she'll give some advice, because we cannot
Well,
communicate
yeah,
with
what
them.
typically would happen is, Daryl, if you called and said, we need to discuss that, what would happen is I would then put that on the agenda. I would send an email to Debbie and have her put that on the agenda. Because again, it really, that's information that the whole board should know about.
Yes.
So we want to table this, make a motion to table this.
I
got a comment. I
Go
want
ahead, John. Yeah.
our statement and to comment to what it is, but I'm getting some of the blame for these legal bills, but I will say I just approved the goals invoice, and y'all signed the check last month. But on that invoice, Debbie's name is mentioned 10 times as far as conversation. Mine's mentioned 5 times as far as conversation. Daryl's once, and the rest of it was taken care of business through EIA's first one thing and that. But putting it bluntly, it's gonna be a cold day in hell for somebody tells me to go back and talk to the lawyer. But I don't feel any different about that than me accidentally asking you to sit down Wednesday and you taking offense to it. I don't see you letting somebody tell you whether you can talk to somebody either, Troy. You just don't have, I don't think that demeanor about you. But I oppose this proposal and limiting the attorney's contact to only board president is not in the best interest of the board or the district. The attorney represents the district as a whole, not any one individual. All board members have a duty to seek legal guidance when needed to fulfill their responsibilities. Removing the ability for board members or the general manager to directly obtain legal advice will slow down operation, create bottlenecks, and risk incomplete or filtered information being provided to the board. This is not a cost control measure, it's a restriction on transparency, efficiency, and each member's ability to make fully informed decisions. Our last attorney's bill, Mr. Wilburn, exceeded $100,000 in 1 year, and yet the district received questionable advice through the government parachute and the M&O tax, which harmed our finances severely. And at one point, he cut head 3 attorneys on the payroll, I think. But Ms. Pierce has been far more effective for the district than any previous attorney. And I think there's been obstruction of her work and her in trying to make conversation and emails with the GM, and it's created a higher cost. And as far as PIAs, I think staff or GM could answer the PIAs and then send them to the attorney for approval, and that would save a lot of time too. But anyhow, these actions are unacceptable, counterproductive, and the solution to controlling legal costs is better communication and oversight, not cutting off board members' direct access to the attorney. Board members must be able to obtain the information needed to represent our constituents effectively, and it's time to recognize the games being played and fulfill the duty we were elected to perform. So I make a motion to table this and come up with a different answer.
Yes, I get.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
I abstain.
The motion passes to table. Number 5, discuss and review the district's policy for reimbursement for continuing education and or training. This was meant in my mind with the reimbursement for continuing education was that they would be reimbursed for.
Number 1, this agenda item was, a policy was to be presented at the September meeting. That's what you voted on last month.
So we can
So we can table it for now? Okay.
I make a motion, we table agenda item 5.
I'll second.
Discuss and review an action of approval of quote for new signage at the district office reflecting hours and days of operation.
We don't have to vote. You make the motion.
Yeah, but
Oh, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes to table.
We
Item
tabled
number,
that one as well.
Yes, ma'am.
no.
That's
number
number
5
6.
was taken.
Number 5 was tabled. Number 6, discuss and review and take action on approval of quote for new signage for the district office reflecting the hours and days of operation.
I make a motion, we agenda that, amend that item and change the motion to do away with it. So that, I'd already told,
My only problem is we moved the sign to the gate, and when the gate's closed, you can't read it for the fence.
When it's open.
When it's open. Can we move it back to the fence? Does anybody have a problem with moving that sign back to the fence that doesn't move? Right, but it's right next to the gate. But if you put it on the gate when people pull in, oh yeah, they can see it. But if they look to the right, they can see it too, or look to the left.
How about if we put one in both
Well,
places?
here's,
A very small sign.
here's what you gotta look at too. We all know how busy that intersection is.
Yes, sir.
You can't, you don't, I mean, if it's where they can see it from the other side of the road, people coming from this side,
I can,
make sure that they can see, because we don't want anybody pulling in when the gates closed.
absolutely.
And then having to back out. That's the one thing we've got to watch out for is people's safety. So wherever you put it, I mean, it's got to be big enough and in view. But unfortunately, actually having it flat against the fence is not the best. It's not the ideal
Yeah.
way it should be, because you got traffic going like this. So it
Well, I
would have to
think
be
there was
something,
some
it would have to be something
thoughts
that's,
about putting a marquee up there at one point in time. I don't
well,
know where
we're
that
far
went.
from the marquee. So
Yeah.
we gotta look at,
What do you do?
we gotta look at something. Maybe it's something we look at putting up a pole with a sign that the sign's going this way. I know it's gonna cost more, but we're looking at people's safety and, I mean, it can be seen.
So what do you want me to do with this, where the sign is in the?
Right now, I think-
The money that we have.
I think that right now the sign is just where it's visible, but we also gotta look at what we're gonna do. If the driveway was deeper, where somebody pulled in, it would be, I don't think that'd be a problem, but it's not. Somebody pull in with a big truck, you're obstructing traffic, because,
Well, the big
you know,
trucks are-
if it's one of us, we see the gate closed, we're not pulling in.
Yeah, but a big
But
truck,
somebody,
they enter over here.
yeah, no, but I'm talking about just, somebody with a dually or something trying to back out of there.
Right.
But, I mean, I see a gate closed, I'm not pulling in the driveway.
Right.
But that's not to say that, people don't drive like I do. Some people just pull in, it's like, oh, shoot, it's closed.
Yeah.
And so, but if we have something, I think we need to look at in the future, something bigger that's facing where they can see it when they're coming out.
Okay, so as far as this, I'm gonna have a call to question. I vote that we deny the new signage for the district office at this time.
But just be placed where it's placed where it's
We'll have to
at.
take that up somewhere else.
Yeah, it's still.
Because that's
so
not
they
part
can
of this
see it,
order.
where it's not covering up when the gates open.
Right.
So move it back to where it was.
For now.
Because where
Yeah,
where
you
it
can
is
just give
when you
directions
pull
to Jeff
into,
and
when
then
you
just say
pull
no
in
action
now,
on this item.
where it was before is when you get ready to pull in, it's right here to the left, so the driver of the vehicle sees the hours.
Okay.
Please move
That's
it
where it
back where
was.
it was.
That's where it was.
I make a motion that we have no action on this.
And that's what you're saying.
I just want to know what you want to do this sign.
Yeah, just put it back well on the left side.
Well, we can't take no action.
So,
But we're taking no action on buying new signs. We're just giving her direction.
Yeah, you're just giving
Direction.
Debbie instruction. You're not approving a quote or payment. So you can
Right.
give her instruction and then just say no action on a needed quote.
so Nicole's telling you you're right.
Okay. All right, so there's no action taken there. Review and discuss the use of surplus funds for expansion of the district. Debbie, I'm assuming this would come from you because you'll have the budget information and do we have
No,
any?
sir, this is an item that Kelly put on there.
Okay.
And this is
Mr. Kelly,
August,
do you know
July.
how much do we have to
Well,
work with?
we need a little clarification. We had the $490-something thousand from interest accrued or earned on, the note from PWDB. That is ECUD to spend at will. And Ms. Hayes stated also there was $500,000 under budget money, but that has to be spent on the note, that $500,000.
Right.
But it frees up $500,000 that we was gonna pay. So technically, the way I look at it, we got close to $1 million that we can spend.
Ms. Hayes, do you have any input on how much money we have that we could look at projects for?
Yeah, so on the monies that Kelly's referring to, after you net it all down, there's $787,973.13.
How do we come up with that, please?
So there was originally 1.2 million, there was 252 paid to IRS, there was 6,000 paid to Hilltop, which left you a balance of 487,973.13. Then the 500,000 that we ended up going ahead and, we moved money where it showed that there was a paper trail of the money that we got that has to be paid to the principal to them. So if you take 500,000 that we have in our operating account and add the two numbers together, you get 787,973.13.
Because of the attorney expenses and stuff,
So that's what you
legal
get.
expenses.
787.
787,973.13.
And so that's what you have. When I get to my GM report, I've got a proposed budget to give to you to where you can look at. And it's just a proposed budget. It's not adopted because you don't adopt your budget until September. But there's also some monies in there. And then I'll get together with the treasurer and go through the actual budget and the numbers before we adopt the budget. Because there's probably a little over $1 million that the district would have to use. You just have to be very mindful and remember that you want money set aside so that if you have a major leak, because you have to remember a lot of your pipes that are in the ground are very old. And we need to replace meters that are out in the field that have been there for multiple years that we keep replacing the ends on. That we need to just go through the process and replace the meters. So there's multiple infrastructure items that need to be addressed when we go through and adopt the budget next month. Besides, in addition to being able to just put pipe in the ground to expand the system.
Is this something that
So-
you could meet with the engineer and Demetrio?
Yeah, I've already been doing all that. So,
Okay.
I mean, so
So do we have any ideas?
So I guess on item number 7, that's where that gets, there's really no action other than just to report and tell you where we're at. And then I would believe that would move forward when we go through the budget. And then to a committee probably.
Do you have any idea how much set aside money you're gonna need for the budget? For emergencies?
I would want to at least have $1 million set aside.
Is that what we had last year?
That's what we've been having. Mhm.
And are we running through that every year?
We haven't this year. We've been very lucky, but
How much
we have in the past.
How much we got left over?
Well, there's a multitude of money that's left over. I mean, it's all over the place. In your financials,
Give me a ballpark.
can I go through the financials when we get there? I mean, this month. We,
I make a motion, we called a no action on this, this project. That was second, to move on.
Yeah, second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Nice.
Receive update from contract committee on the water supply contract with the city of Odessa.
Does the committee want to report on this, or would you like to?
You can go ahead.
Okay.
Please.
So on item number 8, the contract committee met one time. We basically went through the contract, eliminated some items that were no longer needed because the contract that we're going to need with the city is a water contract, not a billing and collections contract, nor a maintenance and operation contract, which were all tied to the main water contract. So we went through and eliminated all of that. It's basically all we did and updated dates and stuff, and you have a draft of what was marked out and then a copy of a draft or work in progress is in your packet. I have visited with Al Trillette, he is the director over city's utilities, and had visited with Dan Jones, who was the city attorney. The city attorney is no longer with the city. There is an interim city attorney, Keith Stretcher. And when I visited with Alex last, he was putting together a file with what his calculation of what the water rate should be. And a contract for their attorney, their interim attorney to go through. And I basically told him what we had kind of done that, because we were waiting on financials from the city. And so they're supposed to reach back out to us. So they're kind of in a holding pattern, which is where we are. They have not adjusted the rate, that the city has been charging ECUD, since I've been here, so since 23. The rate that they're charging us today is the same rate that they've been charging us 23, 24, and 25. So that's all that I have to report on that, unless the committee, has anything else.
I asked you this in an email, but were there any minutes to the meeting?
I forwarded them to you.
Any other discussion?
Do you have any idea when they'll get back with me?
No, sir.
We put something together for them, or is that a bad idea, or
If I would,
how long we gonna be in limbo?
well, my recommendation is that considering that the cost and the price of everything has gone up, if you want your water rate to go up tomorrow, then I would probably approach them, Mr. Kelly. I'd probably go approach them, but the longer you probably wait on them, then that rate will stay the same as it is. And so,
I don't think it's.
but no, I'm just saying, I
understand.
I would approach them.
That's all I need.
Have they, so they did replace the city manager.
Yeah, they replaced the city manager.
But the city attorney's not there either.
And they also, and Alex is new. So they're with a new utility director. They're with an interim city manager, or an interim city attorney and a brand new city manager.
We all know how costs have gone up. I think we let sleeping dogs lie till we have to make a decision on it. But that's just my opinion. We're getting a good rate right now, a good rate for the past. I don't think it's been increased for 5 years.
And I think I've also said this before, the only reason that I would have rather had it before they selected the city manager.
Yeah.
Because if we, that's one less job if we would have presented them with what we said and say, hey, you know what, we like this, we'll take it, so they wouldn't have to do it. But, so I'm kind of like, do we approach it now? Or do we submit something ourselves? But from my understanding is that they're already working on something for us too. So, I mean,
I think what they're more concerned is just gonna be what the wholesale rate's gonna be. I think the meat of the contract is gonna stay probably pretty close to the same.
and that's what, and my biggest concern was the rates.
Yeah.
It'd be wonderful if we could give some relief to the customers.
I mean, well,
That'd be awesome. Yeah. So do we have a motion on this?
What do we need to vote on? Is just an update.
Okay. So no update, no action taken. Discuss and take action to form a project development ECUD committee.
I like this idea because, I mean, I think moving forward, we're gonna start, I mean, everybody's got the same idea. We've got to move forward. We've got to try to figure out ways of having, getting water to the customers, getting water to the areas that don't have water. So,
What exactly?
I don't mind being on the committee, but I don't always want to be the one on the committee. So this would be something that every so, when they say, hey, so-and-so, I was on a committee for next 3 board meetings.
Well, my question to Debbie a while ago was this, have you had these discussions because we have to find out what things cost from the engineer, how to do it, all that. I think as a starting point, get Debbie, get all her information together, and when she's ready to say, we've got 7 projects that we could fit in, then develop a committee from there based on the money we have. Because all things being said and done, I want to see Knox Village before I die have water. But it's not doable right now. So I guess we kind of need to find out what fits in the financial plan that we can't work, if
And I-
it's just a neighborhood.
And I think the committee's not just for certain things, it's for, I mean, it's gonna be for anything that comes up that, cause I know Jesus and I have been on 2 committees and I'm like, okay, I said, as Jesus said the last time, I guess I'm gonna be on a committee before we're gonna talk. And so, I think we're just looking for more participation.
I will volunteer to be on the product development committee.
Cause I mean, it will rotate, we can rotate it out.
Yeah.
And it's just to give everybody a fair shot and
Everybody has a say in it.
everybody has a say.
What's your idea, Ms. Hayes?
So I was just going to suggest to the board that I would suggest that we move this item be tabled and be put back on the agenda in October or November, after we've gone through the budget, after we put together some projects, and then maybe even allow new board members to be able to participate and to learn before you actually appoint anyone to this committee. That would be my recommendation.
Make a motion, we take no action
And
on
I
this.
do want to note that, I do want to note that you can't change out committee members for particular committees. I mean, committees are really for, kind of one specific matter. But you can't like rotate the members out so that everybody is part of that particular committee.
Yes, yes.
Because again, that.
No,
So, I know you were on, one committee, when they presented those policies for the board as far as like the discounted rates and stuff. I mean, if there's nothing that committee needs to do, then, you don't really have that committee anymore. I mean, if that's the case. But I heard something about like changing it out and stuff.
Well, yeah,
You can appoint different people to committees, but you can't change out the members in a committee unless somebody were to, leave the board or some reason.
Okay, I'll make a motion to table this
But we're
until,
gonna no action put on for 2 months from now.
till November, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Do I have a second? Do I need a second on that?
No, you don't need second to just no action
Okay.
or tabling.
Number 10, we have public comment from Ms. Shirley Kelly.
Don't have any comments.
Okay, discuss and review and take the action of the adoption of the customer security deposit refund policy. I lived in the city for quite a number of years, and, I know that that's kind of the policy we followed in the past. I never got a refund of my deposit until my final bill was, till I shut off my water. I don't, because at any point in time, you become later in arrears, we can use that money. I don't, even though customers had stood in a good account for 2 years, I don't agree with it's $35. I don't agree with sending the money back until they close their account. That's just personal.
So John, I asked John to come in here because John's been managing the collections and the billing department since 22.
Yes, ma'am.
So since 22, would you please share with the board what the action has been for ECUD on deposits?
So since 22, we've collected deposits from every new account, and we only return the deposit at the end of the life cycle of the account.
It's since 22.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And is that what you were told to do by the board?
That is correct.
And yet that was the policy that was presented through management. Do you know of a policy that has ever been adopted or for refund policies?
No, ma'am.
And so in going back through the minutes, we cannot find where there was any policy or procedure that was put in place. Other than the board just being at that time under the bylaws and CEO and managing, that the policy was that the deposits were be given back to the customer in the event that their account was made whole and zero. Otherwise, their deposits were put against their account.
That's correct.
So with that being said, and there wasn't a policy, we drafted a policy that is presented to you as the procedure that the district currently follows.
And if you've read this, it's, agenda item 10 in your packet. I'm gonna read it, real quickly. This policy outlines a procedure for collecting, holding, refunding customer deposits related to water utility services. The purpose is to ensure financial integrity, transparency, and compliance with regulatory requirements while protecting both the utility and its customers' scope. The policy applies to all residential utility water customers of ECUD, but not limited to the property owners and renters. Deposits held under the City of Odessa and Ector County interlocal agreement was transferred from the City of Odessa to ECUD are governed under this same policy. The deposit requirement is for a property owner at $65, a renter at $125, commercial at $125, and portable meter at $3,500. These deposits are subject to change and will be updated by the Board of Directors as needed. The most current rates being held in application process made upon request. Deposits will be held for the entire duration life cycle of the customer's account. Deposits will not be applied to monthly service bills unless the account is closed. Deposits will be maintained in a dedicated liability account as part of the company's financial records. Upon closure of the customer's account, the deposit will be repaid in full or applied to any outstanding balance due at the time of termination. For example, unpaid bills or fees. Refunds will be processed after the final bill is generated upon request. The customer's responsibility for having the correct mailing address to receive their refund. Record keeping and customer access, deposits will be recorded in the customer's account file. Customers may request a written statement of their deposit at any time. Regular audits will be conducted to ensure compliance with internal policies and accounting standards. Compliance and review. The policy aligns with all relevant municipal, state, federal utility regulations. Modifications must be reviewed and approved by the Board of Directors. I make a motion that we adopt this policy as written because we've been following it for 3 years without the policy in effect.
Just 3 years.
3 years that we can record. I actually think it went further back than that.
I'm gonna address the fact that you said some got there, some didn't. That's just on business.
Well, I mean, that's not on the agenda. The agenda says, discuss and review and take action of the adoption of the customer security deposit refund policy.
You don't think we ought to take into consideration a comment from the public?
You know what? I don't know what, I could not verify or deny what, Mr. Capoff had to say. Either way, I've read his emails. I've seen his rebuttal. I just know that that's how I feel from this point is let's move on and get this district back to working. I make a motion to it. Is there a second? First by Troy Walker, second by Jesus Sanchez. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes. Number 11, discuss and review the truth and taxation process, including the following, if necessary, review of the district budget, proposed 2025 tax rate, schedule a public hearing on the 25 tax rate, authorize the tax assessor collector, prepare and publish a public notice of hearing, and call for election to be held November 4th, 2025, under the Texas Tax Code, section 26.07. I know there's been some discussion about meeting the M&O tax. I know that. Hello? Okay,
Did you ask something, Nicole?
Yes, I'm here.
No, you didn't ask something, because
we heard a noise, didn't know if it was you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. I know that there is another way to do this without it being a property tax. It's called a pilot program, and if you have the line in front of your yard, everyone, it's not based on, John, say you have, what, 20 acres? You won't be taxed on the 20 acres, you'll just be taxed on the line. So everybody pays an equal amount. Say I pay the same amount that Daryl pays, and Jesus pays, and you pay. And it doesn't matter who's got the most property. It's just a way to make sure everybody's got the same, uh, needle in the eye of the needle. Am I correct about that assumption?
Yeah, but I think that's off subject of what we can
Okay.
discuss today.
Okay,
So
all right, I'm sorry then.
that's okay. We just need to figure out what to do. So we have I know that, Lori with the appraisal district has given us, the actual worksheet so that we can go ahead and submit that to her today so that she can actually do the calculation worksheet we turned in. And so, there are 3 questions that she needs answered. One of them is to please indicate what type of water district you fall under, and we fall under a low tax rate water district. Then the second question is current year debt rate tax, which is 0, and the current year contract tax rate, which is 0 as well. And so that's what needs to be done and submitted to the appraisal district so that they can calculate our worksheet. And then you need to actually set a rate. You need to, today you need to vote on a proposed rate, and you have to vote on a date and time for the public meeting of that proposed rate. So I would suggest that you do 2:00 at your normal September meeting. Have that public hearing meeting right before your regular meeting.
It's gonna be difficult for the public to attend that.
If it's a 0 rate,
We're keeping it at 0, you can't go up,
if you don't have
so we don't have a prior.
a
Any percentage at times 0 is still 0.
So they already decided. Okay.
No, I mean, that's what it is, John.
Already decided. Go ahead.
Yeah, so if any wanted to adopt any rate higher, yes, you'd have to call for an election, which states the deadline, and then it would be on the November 4th, election ballot.
So I'm assuming the board does not want to call for an election.
I mean, if you've got a motion,
You have to pay for the whole
the whole election.
election.
No.
And,
Yeah, because you don't know for sure
There's
if
a
you'd
lot.
be the only entity having an election.
There's a lot.
But I did prepare different scenarios based on election costs from the prior years.
Right now, the only thing that I'm aware of, Nicole, that is the propositions, of course, across the state. And then the county is gonna have a, district road, item on the ballot. Those are the only 2, so.
Yeah,
That, right now, there's not any other taxing entity, that I'm aware of that's gonna have anything else on the ballot.
All I'm saying, if you don't ask, you ain't gonna get it,
understood.
you know. And this board can, this district can, you know, your deal may work, what you're talking about, but it cannot survive without M&O tax.
I understand.
Well, it cannot grow without an M&O tax, because nobody is out there to give us any money. I've already tried to ask from the county. And this board needs to understand that, we can beg for money all we want, but it ain't there. And if people needs the water, I think they'll vote on the taxes. And I don't like taxes any better than the next guy, but it's, that's.
So is your motion to make a,
So, this is my point of view. If we make an election to get the MNO, we're gonna spend a whole lot of money, and there's no warranties that people's gonna vote in favor. So if we spend all this money and we end up losing the election, to save some money, we end up without the MNO and without the money we spent.
Well,
And,
And it, In addition, you may have to pay for, so it's unfortunately the timing, so typically the tax office will send out the tax statements in October and then the elections in November. So yes, if y'all were to lose in the election and be unsuccessful, you would likely be required to pay for, the admin and clerical, labor and time with your tax office on resending out new tax statements and possibly refunds to taxpayers. In y'all's situation, there's no, there, there could be a small refund, because again, depending on, like, let's say y'all said we want to propose a 3 cents, and then y'all lost in the election. Some taxpayers may have already paid from October to November from the election, and so those taxpayers would be due a refund. So there's additional cost as well if the election was unsuccessful.
But that money could be set aside in case they did have to give it back, it would be there.
Well, yeah, I mean, you'd receive the money from the tax office from tax deposits, and yes, you'd have to refund those. But there's also administrative costs on the tax office side, on re-issuing all that.
Well,
Do you have an idea how much you were talking about?
So, I mean, I've prepared just brief scenarios, not knowing, what type of rate y'all may be considering proposing. I can't say how much the clerical and admin cost would be for your tax office as far as issuing refunds. But I mean, I just did scenarios on my end of like proposing a 1 cent all the way to 6 cents. And then factoring in $100,000 for your 2026 election costs. And for your 2024 election, you paid about 68,000. And in 2022, you paid a little over 94,000. So I factored that in as far as, tax revenue you would receive based on any proposed rate that you proposed today. So like, for example, if y'all proposed a 5 cent total tax rate, which all that would be applied to M&O since you don't have any portion allocated to your debt service, you're looking at about bringing in about $625,000 in tax revenues based on your certified taxable base. If I remove the $100,000 for election costs, and you were successful, you could expect about $525,000 in property tax revenue. And to your taxpayers, their tax bill would be about $82 to ECUD for the tax year, based on a 5 cent tax rate.
That $82 is that monthly or?
That's based on the average home taxable value from the tax office. They have an average home taxable value of $163,584.
Okay, 1 year, yeah, okay.
So yeah, that was double, then, you just take the $82 and double that.
Do we have a motion?
Yeah.
Well, I think we have to do this today.
well, I understand that.
On the ballot in November.
I understand. And our last cost on the ballot was 30-something thousand, wasn't it, 35?
Yes, with
But that was-
cities and
No,
county.
your last election,
Last was 60.
No, we got it reduced down to 35.
yes,
We had that reduced down.
I got it reduced down to less than half of what they billed us for.
But the problem is that not everybody's having elections, so it's gonna be a lot higher. That,
But I don't want
Yeah,
to
I
spread it
budgeted
out over the
100,000.
county either, you know.
yeah, right, so the deal, my issue on this is, the cost of putting it on election, that we're gonna, and then, with recently the ESD being voted in, and we saw how people complained about taxes there. I don't think that people will vote for another tax increase, even though they need more. Because the main people that are that are voting are the people that are in the district that already have water.
But I think they're gonna vote for water before they vote for fire station.
They would vote for the fire station now.
Even like people that are.
Everyone within your district would vote whether or not they have water or not.
Well, that's the issue. But Nicole, we could also add on that ballot, everybody outside the district. Everybody in extra
No,
county.
only,
I
no,
don't believe we
no,
can do
the
that.
proposition is only for ECUD taxpayers and registered voters within your territory.
I understand that, but why can't we put the other on the ballot as a separate deal?
They're not in your
They're not in our
territory, they have
district
to vote.
I know, but we want to vote them into our district.
Well, that has to be done
No,
before.
you have, no, that's
That's a
a
separate.
separate proposition.
I
Yeah,
understand.
that's a separate thing. That would be annexing them. But this is that your current registered voters within your territory, they get to vote on the tax rate.
But I'm asking,
Registered voters that are outside the territory, they don't get a vote on that.
I'm asking how come that can't be on the same voting roster?
Because we
Two
have
separate.
You have to first bring them in through an annexation, and then they get to vote on it.
The only way we can bring them into an annexation is through a vote.
No, sir. We can annex the property with a zero tax rate.
They can also bring petitions like y'all see throughout throughout your monthly agendas, y'all have received petitions for people requesting to be inside the district.
But if it's gonna cost them tax money, they ain't gonna request it. You're gonna have to make it some, never mind, forget it. This
I
place is
wasn't
going.
clear on that last statement, John, I'm sorry.
That's all right. You're doing what you're paid to do.
Well, no, I did hear it all, and if you could clarify, I just didn't hear all the statements.
You've clarified it enough, Nicole. I got enough information from the board members and I'm in the wrong, so let's carry on.
I'm not saying you're in the wrong, it's just not the right time. I think we're approaching that.
So what do we need
What
to
she
do?
stated, we can't do either one. We're gonna
I
have to
need
do
to-
one, then you gotta wait
I
another year.
need somebody to make a
Well, I
motion
think-
that the proposed tax rate be zero. And then I need you to vote that there will be a public hearing on September the 10th at 2:00.
Okay,
That's what I need.
so I make a motion that our,
And you can make your public hearing at 2:30 and just have it at the top of your agenda, and then continue on with the agenda.
We can.
But if you wanted a separate time as well, you can do that too.
Historically, they do it 30 minutes.
Typically, most,
They do. Our
Okay.
district historically has done it 30 minutes before the board meeting.
okay.
I make a motion at this
So,
time.
yeah, there's a motion. I'm sorry, Troy.
It's okay. I make a motion at this time that we remain at 0% tax rate and have our, public hearing at 2 p.m. before our September meeting. Do I have a second?
And I just want to be clear on the motion. The motion should state that you propose a zero tax rate for 2025.
Yes, ma'am. That's how I worded it.
Okay.
But different. Yes, ma'am. Is there a
And I
second?
just want to, because it's not a percent, and I just don't want it to be confusion for your taxpayers.
Yes, ma'am. Is there a second?
I'm sick.
Seconded by Jesus. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes. General manager report.
I'm gonna try to do this real quick to be respectful of y'all's time and everything. So there's just a couple of things that I want to.
Debbie, real quick before you get into item 12, just to confirm, as part of that motion, you're also authorizing your tax assessor to prepare and publish your public hearing notice,
Yeah, we'll do all that. There,
or do you do that, Debbie?
yeah, we'll get with it. Between us and the tax district, we'll do it. And then we'll
Okay,
prepare.
I just was checking. Yeah, most of the districts and counties I work with, they want to have it in the minutes that they're authorizing the tax assessor. But if your tax assessor is good, then nothing's needed.
We're good.
You ready?
I'm ready. So, we'll do, so first thing is that we had a, change order for the ARPA project on some, about 1,300 linear feet of pipe that was concrete pipe over in Arcadia that was not on the GIS. So therefore it wasn't part of the ARPA project bid. It was, so there was a change order of $116,580.31 that was presented to the Commissioners Court for a change order. As you can see, here's a picture of the pipe. So it's very much needed, that pipe be added and addressed along with the rest of the pipe in the Arcadia area. So it was approved, as presented. I visited with commissioners before the meeting. They didn't really have any questions or anything on it. So they understood the importance of it and everything. So, that was a good thing. The other thing is that out of the ARPA projects, the bid packages came under the $10 million that the county awarded to the district. With the bid packages, this change order, we are $515,000 still under budget from the 10 million. My goal is to come in under budget. And then hopefully would like to present to the board that ARPA money be used for the Third Street project. And of course, that will happen in 26 because that's when all the ARPA projects are to be completed. Any questions on that?
Bravo.
So, we are moving forward and Madrid is just doing an outstanding job. On the IRS, I have a letter here that says we have already received and removed all the penalties from these accounts, and those were from the 941. So there was one that was still left out that I wanted you to be aware of. On the Prosperity Bank, where we had the 2 checks that were stolen out of mailboxes, we had one that was left that was 4,000 and change. And earlier this month, that money was recouped and redeposited back into your bank account. So we're all whole there. Let's see. On PSC, we're required to do a lead and copper test. And they have left bottles in that area, which is back over this way. There's very limited customers, but we still have to go through this process. And so those bottles and that testing is being done. We are required to take 30 samples before the end of September. We have 78 sample sites that we're going to choose from. They will leave the bottles outside those residents' doors from the 11th of August until September 5th. They will contact us to have those picked up, and then they will be sent off to an independent lab, where then later the results will be told to the district. The pump station, the Burt pump station. Demetrio, Daryl, and myself, we met out at the Burt pump station to go over and Tommy Urban. We went through that whole process, looked at it. Daryl had a lot of questions because of his experience in pipe and the underground system works a lot like out in the oil field. And I think it was beneficial and educational. Did you think so, Daryl?
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Learned a lot.
yeah.
Just why I was out there too.
Uh-huh. And so, the district of that will run the district about, I'm just gonna round it up to about $30,000,
I didn't understand that toward colony. The demolition is 30?
around $30,000 to disassemble it. And then the district will, of course, have all of the assets, the owner of the land wants it to, completely back to nothing on that property that would in turn cause him to have any property, personal property tax on that property. So, I'll have to put that $30,000 into the budget, for, the 25-26 year when we get ready to move
Did
forward.
you get the quote from somebody?
But Demetria put it, we kind of put it together. It's kind of a rough, of what we thought, because we'll use our labor, but we'll have to rent some, trailers to move some of that equipment, because we don't have the trailers to do it. And some heavy equipment to pull some of it out, because we don't have the equipment. And so I do have a breakdown of where that $30 came from, and I apologize. After shoveling paper all around from last Wednesday's meeting, I failed to bring that in. So after we adjourn, I'll go, oh. I do have it. Yay. Paperclip to something else. So that's a rough estimate of what it will cost. And again, Demetrio, he's not here. He was here last Wednesday to defend his numbers, but that's basically what he's thinking that it would cost. Now, again, these are just rough estimates. And so if anyone at this table has expertise or can help us with any of this, we'll get together before we actually start the project. So that's the land cover, the cost.
What are we gonna do with everything that's there in the pumps, the motors?
We thought we would take them out either to the pump station on 42nd Street. There, after we reassemble the building and put as much of it as we can in that building over there and store it over there.
Are we gonna utilize the pumps and motors? Or are we gonna sell them?
Whatever the board decides.
I think they could be utilized. Let's do it Friday.
I think that's an excellent question. And I think that that's something that the board would want to address after everything's been excavated out of the ground and we ascertain whether it's something we can use or if it's something that we want to turn into cash. I think that's a very good question.
How long did we actually operate the pump station?
It was before me, so I don't know how old that pump station is. And it's before any of us were here.
The utility bill started in 23.
So 23. Well, I wouldn't say that. So that pump station was during a time when was built, when the city was still doing all the managing and paying, or the M&O for the district.
I think in 23 is when
It's when the bill was turned over to us, but it's always been a city of Odessa bill before that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we don't, there are not records or anything that we have, so. Unfortunately, I mean, I can't answer that. Let's see, the other thing is, on Third Street,
but everybody, I think some of our dates are a little off. I'm gonna send you another email, but I think we ought to be able to come up with some cost on what the thing costs. But
there are not any invoices here.
I understand what you told me, but I think we're wrong on the dates, or we need to dig into some other.
So we went through all of the invoices and everything that we had on property.
And
And
Tommy was here when they built it, because he built it, and he's the one that gathered it up illegally. I'm just telling you, I think there should be some paperwork somewhere on that. I mean, that's a lot of money.
I totally agree, but
And we ought to have an account somewhere of what our cost was on
That may be a Tommy question because it all happened before Debbie got
that.
here.
Hey, let's bring him in here now. We're using him in other places.
Well, I doubt you'll get an answer that you can live with.
Well, I don't care. I'll just make that a matter of an agenda for next month.
I don't know, we've gone through all the invoices, we don't have any file folders, I went through all of Bill Fowler's stuff, and I can't find anything. Nothing, other than the electric bills that we have, and that's all that is on this property.
I don't understand why we'd have electric bills, but we would have invoices for building the thing. I mean,
I don't know, because there was still a relationship between the city and what they did and what the district did, and I have no knowledge of it.
in my way of thinking, the district wasn't doing their business. So anyhow, let's move on.
Okay, so the staff, I reached out to, the commissioner's attorney and asked for a list of the property owners that they had contacted that were wanting water on Third Street, whether it was on the north or the south side of the street. So there are 17 customers that are on the south side of Third Street of the project that you approved last month. We contacted all of them, all of them. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 customers that own lots side by side each other. We shared with them the special on getting a water tap. And because these individuals are going to be getting money from the county for their purchase of their easement. And so we were encouraging them that when they got their money for their easement, for them to come in and pay for the tap while it was discounted. And so we did reach out to all 17 customers, staff did. And some of them were very receptive, and to my knowledge, no one has come in and paid for any discounted taps so that they would be able to get water. So, but we have reached out to them, so I wanted y'all to know that we did do that after that meeting last week. On your financial position, so income for the month of July was 729,950. The expenses were 676,306. And a couple of things. One reason why the expenses were a little higher is that there was July, because of the holiday and how it fell, there were 3 pay periods during the month of July. The expenses on the guys out in the field were up a little bit, and that's because there are they purchased quite a bit of equipment because of the cap special. So expenses were a little bit higher than normal. So those that have taken advantage of this cap special that was adopted are 7 customers have done the $1,700 with $1,000 reduction. And you have 2 customers that have taken advantage of it being financed for a year. So that's a total of 9 customers. And those are, so that's good. On your, I know one thing that y'all probably want to kind of take note of is that on your accounting fees, because that's one thing that you were trying to also watch, the accounting fees for the month of July were,
$150, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, $150.
I saw that check.
Yeah, $150 for the month. And so that's,
Total?
pardon me?
Total? Yes, sir.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's what so that's been consistent. Even less than, I think what y'all were looking was around 500 a month. So that has been consistent.
My hat goes off to Joanna, and the rest of the staff for keeping those costs down. I think they're doing a fantastic job.
So other than that, oh, the road cuts. So I talked to Eddie Landrum. Because Jesus and I had a conversation about the road cuts and the cost. So Mr. Landrum told me that the lists that the county provides are contractors that they know have got the liability insurance and are bonded. But if there is anyone, whether in West Odessa, South Odessa, North Odessa, it doesn't matter. If they have got the bond coverage and the liability coverage that is required by the county, they can do road cuts. So the residents of West Odessa do not have to only get estimates from that list that is provided by the county.
Is that all?
That's, and I'm gonna take some vacation days next week.
Okay.
Other than that, unless the board has any questions for me, the only other thing I need to give you before we need to give you your proposed budget. Go ahead and I'll.
Okay, all consent agenda items listed are considered routine by the board. Discuss and consider and take action regarding the minutes July 23rd and the accounts payable for August 13th, 2025.
I do apologize, Mr. Walker, we do have to vote to accept the proposed budget. And again, it's just proposed, it is not in concrete, it's just a matter of record, and then you'll adopt the budget next month.
Can we do that all in that one?
Yes,
consent?
yes, yes.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes, the accounts payable, and the proposed budget.
Wait a minute, we looked at the minutes in with the report. And this,
Well, there's no vote on the general manager's report,
okay,
and so we move down to 13.
Okay.
And you have the minutes and the accounts payable and the proposed budget for now.
you need to have a few minutes to let over about it.
And again, it's just proposed. And so if anybody has any questions, you can reach out to me.
Is this the only opportunity we have to go over the
No.
proposed budget?
No,
No,
you have this for a month, and then we have to adopt a budget in October, I believe.
Adopt it for then?
no, sir. You'll
No, sir.
adopt your budget in September, as stated earlier.
September.
September. You'll adopt it in September. So if there's anything that you want to change, add, amend, this gives you a 30-day window to do so.
Are we gonna get together other than a board meeting to discuss that, or?
You can do it individually, you can come in with me, however you would like to do it.
Well, I'm wondering as a board, as a whole, that we can all look at it at the same time with you. Is there another opportunity besides the next board meeting? No workshop? Well,
I guess,
more special.
whatever you want to do.
Okay,
My deal is it's presented, so,
I'm just asking.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's a lot to take in, just,
Before we approve the minutes, on last month's minutes, I went back and reviewed them. Y'all don't think it's important, but I do. But there's no mention when Ms. Hayes got up and left the meeting, and then we had to do our best to finish the meeting, and I think that ought to be included in the minutes. Because when we look at the minutes 2 years down the road, and we want to know what's happening, it doesn't give us a true picture of the way it's set up now. And I think that ought to be mentioned in the minutes.
That motion?
Motion for that, I like a little feedback. I mean, if y'all don't think it's important, well, we just blow right on through
it's
this.
just walked up.
Yeah.
No, I believe it needs to be.
Should the reasons that I walked out be also part of the minutes?
Sure, absolutely.
I think it's already in there.
No, that's not.
No, because normally we don't put any of that in the minutes. It's on the
Because
website,
it
but-
becomes a personnel issue, and then you have HIPAA rules and.
Well, I know it's a lot of stuff to put in there.
Your minutes
I
are.
apologize, but
I
mean, you
I
just
know it's a
put your
lot of
motions
extra
in
work for
to pass.
Johanna, but just to go through the minutes and approve it or disapprove it, doesn't give a true picture of what happens in our meetings.
There is a video record of what happened.
Well, yeah, and sometimes you can't get that video, sometimes the volume's messed up, lots of stuff. I mean,
Minutes,
we just need to cover all that.
minutes are meant for actions and votes that the board is.
And let it be on it. I'm not trying to stir stink. I would just.
I'm just trying to tell you what minutes are for. You just keep cutting me off, John.
I'm sorry, what are they for?
They're just to record actions and votes taken by this board.
No, I thought they was to record the operation of the meeting. Excuse me.
Not 100%.
Excuse me, you can just strike all, everything I said, because what I say in this meeting has absolutely no bearing whatsoever.
John, no one is being argumentative or ugly with you.
That's why you jumped up last
I would
time,
appreciate your tone to stop.
and that works both ways.
There's a motion. Is there a motion on the floor?
Yeah, approval. I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second. All in favor?
There
Aye.
there has to be, it's not just.
I made the motion, the original motion to approve the minutes, the all accounts payable for August and the proposed budget.
So that was the motion.
Do I have a second?
Now we need someone to vote.
I second.
Second, and we're good.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Discuss and consider future agenda items. Do we have any?
I think we need to look into, our own employees, what's it gonna take for them to start cutting roads.
Criteria for cutting roads?
And another thing was, I think we need to look at making sure that all issues are being handled in board meetings, not just one-on-one calls. I think that's something that we need to really focus on, keeping everybody, keeping the board legal, keeping everybody informed. So however, I mean, we've got to have a discussion and figure something out, but everybody needs to be involved properly. So, I guess what I'm looking for is just
Board inclusion?
more inclusion, some time inclusion. The other thing is, we need to make sure that the general manager and the attorney both are, well, the general manager getting the attorney the information we need, that she needs. They're working with the attorney, and I guess another thing is that anything that the general manager is working on, we need to know. Little clarification. I think you said you were talking to somebody already on the issue you were handling. We need to know that. So we just need to
That
stay.
was the contract.
Yeah, so,
I think it was part of the negotiation or talking to the engineer about what projects we could do or whatever.
so
I haven't told anybody's
So-
project.
I would just need more clarity. Would it be
More transparent.
more transparent and we need to work together as 5 members now, so we need to, whatever's happened in the past, the way everybody feels, is we need to do what's for the community.
I don't, before we adjourn, Ms. Sylvia, I appreciate your time and your effort, but the board chose someone else for the deal, but we appreciate you applying and the effort, and we look forward to you coming to more meetings.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you all anyway.
Now, the position that was filled is up for election next year, so that's something to look forward to if you're still interested.
So I'm gonna add something also. The situation she's in, there's hundreds of people, or maybe thousands of people in West Odessa in the same situation she's in.
Yes.
So that's what brought me here to this board, not to be involved in, fruitless discussions. So.
Yeah.
That's the situation she's in, that's what brought me to this board.
Yes.
That's what I'm here for.
I think
She has heart and passion.
if we can actually look at, what, one of the things I said was ECUD, doing the cuts,
Yes, sir.
roads, that probably would help.
Would alleviate that position greatly. Yeah.
Let me ask one more question then, talking about stuff like that, and if we have to form a committee, are all committee members have to be board members?
I don't think they do.
No. I think we need some outside.
They could be part of it.
I don't know what the legality of that is. Do you, Nicole?
Nicole, is that correct?
So, well, I'm sorry, what was the question you were asking?
Any
If
committees?
committee members
Yeah,
have to be board members?
yes.
So the nice thing about the committee is that a committee needs to have at least one or two directors. And then as part of the committee, you can have other people outside of the board. I mean, you can bring in your general manager, you can bring in, your operator, you can bring in, other people that can assist as part of that committee. But the committee itself has to have at least one or two directors.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.